Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Packer Universe podcast. This is the first takeaway with Tay and Ren, who is Ren. Looks like in the dark. He has to go overhead light. So we'll talk about his technical difficulties and the Packers. Right now, this is Sunday, 3 hours after the game, week 3. Packers lose to the Browns. It was a fun time, right, Ren? You can catch us on Packer Universe podcast anywhere you find podcasts. Go on YouTube for our live streams too, as well as Twitter. We're all over the place. Check us out. Ren, thanks for joining me on this Sunday afternoon, on a maybe unglorious afternoon for the Pack especially. But I see you got the light situation going on there, so tell me something positive, maybe?
Hey, the Cleveland Browns have yet to score more than 17 points in a game today, and one would think, hey, that should be potentially a recipe for a dub, but not the case today. I mean, this game was about as blasé and about as upsetting as it could be, man. I mean, Zach Tom, I said he wasn't going to play. He plays one play, and he's right back out. I don't know if that helps you from a perspective of planning all week, that a guy's not going to play, but then he plays and he's not going to play. And it was kind of musical chairs on that O-line today, Tay. I mean, obviously Aaron Banks goes out again, all that contract, Banks has not been fully healthy and available so far in his, short tenure with the Packers. It was just, honestly, Tay, I was watching this game and yes, the Browns are, by all measures, if you look at, rating a defense in the NFL, the number one defense in the NFL. And the thing they do best is stop the run. Mm-hmm. They like to play a lot of man coverage. So I just don't know how the Packers couldn't get some of the intermediate pass game going. I thought Matt LaFleur and the Packers just kind of played scared and conservative all day today. They weren't doing much. They were still trying to get Josh Jacobs going. In the third into the fourth quarter, it started raining out in Cleveland.
Yeah.
And when they were trying to do some intermediate stuff, it was still kind of Josh Jacobs in the flat, and Jordan wasn't getting the ball out right. It seemed to be too slippery for him. Tay, I mean, the penalties, 13 or 14 penalties. It was just way, way, way too many. You've got a Green Bay Packer team coming off 2 great wins and then a mini bye, Tay, and they just come out and lay a freaking egg. And it's hard to watch, man. It took me – I went and cut some grass after it was over, and I'm still like outside anxious, not feeling great about it. And it's just it's a non-conference game, and we're going to try to get over it. But the defense, for the most part, through 3 quarters and, 8 odd minutes, played a pretty solid game. And then, I think there's 4 minutes left and it's still 10-0. Mm-hmm. And then, Jordan, if he has this full game, Tay, and doesn't throw a pick, that would be 10 in a row, which I think I had seen Zach Cruz post. That would have broke the record for most consecutive games without an interception in the modern era since the 1970 merger, Tay. So,
dang.
Obviously Jordan had been good from turning the ball over with regard to interceptions, but that one he threw today was huge. It was costly, Tay. Within minutes, it's tied up, and then obviously they get lucky and get that breathing room piece. It was on that nice play. I want to say not nice play. I can't even think here, Tay. The Packers did this to my brain, but obviously the return, and then they get into scoring position, and then they just play uber conservative. Rather than try to go for a touchdown, they had plenty of time. It's just like run it, fumble it, almost lose right there, the ball back to the Browns, but there wasn't enough evidence to overturn it. But I just don't know why they're not trying to get 7 there. They're just playing too cute. The guy, I want to say it's Shelby Davis. That's a 6 block field goal in his career, Tay. They knew about it going into the play and still couldn't block him. And, it's unfortunate, but it just really seems like a game they weren't prepared for, should have been with, an extra 3 days off. And you got to give it hats off to Cleveland for not giving up, because they certainly could have.
Yeah, I mean, going into this game, we're like, we'll roll the Browns, no problem, right? Like we thought this going in, especially with the 2 games that the Packers put up in the first 2 weeks. I mean, you're like, this team's on fire. This team is top 3. This team's going to the Super Bowl. And then all of a sudden you get a reality check, a little humbling performance by the Packers today against the Browns, who in all intents and purposes should have handled well, right? Even, I mean, you're talking 3 quarters and 8, and what, 8 odd minutes or whatever it is. And it's a defensive battle that kind of like was poised on the edge of a knife. Like first person to flinch was gonna, win the game, and we did. We went up to 10 points on them, and you're like, oh, we got this. All of a sudden, in the last 4 minutes, you let them score 13 points with a bunch of mistakes leading to that. I mean, those 2 penalties on Bullard and Williams in that last drive that the Browns scored, I mean, that crippled us. And to do those, just it was the final death blow to that. And then to have the block field goal, everything that went wrong did go wrong for the Packers. I don't know what their problem was. They just couldn't get it done. And then in the end, when that field goal kick went through for the Browns to win it, I was, when time expired, I was like, nope, they did not deserve to win this game. Like the Packers look like garbage. They look like they were playing to their opponent's level. The Packers are a better team. They didn't prove it today at all. And hopefully they're humbled, and hopefully they go back to work, because this is the type of game that you mentioned it. I don't think it was a trap game, but you were like, this could be a trap game. You said in the podcast last week, and I was like, nah, dude, they got this. They're confident, and they come out and they play. The offense was garbage, basically, for production for 3 quarters. And you just look at this team and go, okay, I guess back to the drawing board, or back to practice, or back to fundamentals, or whatever you want to put in the blank, fill in the blank, go ahead. They got to do it. So I'm not like, hitting any alarms here for the Packers, but I mean, come on, try harder. You guys had this game and you let it go to the Browns in the last 4 minutes. It's just disappointing. The offensive line didn't play well. Obviously, we were jumbling around a little bit to cover, but you would think that could have been at least a little more practiced for, because you had a couple people injured and stuff and jumbled around during training camp. I would think you'd be prepared for that, but I guess not. Rasheed Walker looked great, and all of a sudden, I think he got that last penalty, which it was like a 3rd and 9, and this was going to seal the game, and then I think Rasheed Walker got false starter or something like that, or It was something like that. Maybe that was the Bullard one. I'm getting these penalties at the end of the game confused now, but
well, there's enough of them to get them confused, Tay, no doubt.
So it's just disappointing. It really is, and they didn't deserve to win the game, in my opinion.
No, and that's the thing, Tay. I mean, they got up 10-0, and they felt like, hey, while we can't really move the ball, we'll just play not to lose. And you know what happens when you do that, Tay? This result. They just got way too conservative, just trying to run clock. Thought they, could get out of there, just squeak it out. And with that makeshift offensive line, Jordan was feeling pressure all day. They couldn't let plays develop downfield. But again, I wish the play calling was a little bit better with the intermediate passing game, getting other guys involved. And it didn't have to be much, but, those 6-yard outs and let guys cook. But they couldn't really do much at all. And that's a little bit of the recipe I would think would have to work against the Browns, because they are so good taking away the run. And again, today, when they're getting that pressure, you can't let, that nice one late to Golden was a great play. Mm-hmm. And you thought maybe right there, that's a huge first down. You got breathing room. They can go down, get some points and ice this thing. But unfortunately, no, it just never really got going.
A couple shout outs. You saw Matthew Golden, obviously, we kind of mentioned him. That was great to see him on a big play. Josh Jacobs had, I think, one long run. You finally saw Rashawn Gary now come to the front. Is that the Micah effect? Probably, but Micah Parsons was basically crickets all day, which it doesn't upset me. I mean, maybe they game plan for that, but at least Rashawn Gary's getting to the quarterback. So I didn't really mind that. I don't know. The block field goal is another kind of stack against the special teams right now who isn't looking very good. So you got to wonder about that. We've had those problems before. I mean, even with the bad kicker, we've had those problems before.
Well, and speaking of that, Tay, there was one punt that Matthew Golden, he could have just fair caught it. It would have been at the 20, and instead they end up with a ball at the 2. He just lets it go, and the special teams is just never great. I mean, I've talked about that already this year. It just kind of gets them in spots, and clearly, they didn't play a great football game, but if they get that operation down, we know McManus is pretty money, and they make the kick, they go home, somehow they squeak it out and win a game they shouldn't. And that's again, that's on your special teams, but it's a lot of other things too that happened today. Obviously, we just talked about that, the reasons why they lost the football game. But yeah, you could have, stole one that you really didn't deserve to win just by hitting that field goal and being right. So.
Yeah, and you said it way early. Congratulations, good job to Cleveland. They played a really good game against us, and they won. They didn't give up. They tried hard, and that offense with Joe Flacco, still pushed forward.
Just enough, Tay.
Just enough. I mean, that rookie running back they had, Judkins is a stud, man. He's great. And he had 18 for 94 versus Josh Jacobs 16 for 30. I mean, that's
yikes. What they did to Derrick Henry the week before, man. I know they got blown out, but they can stop the run. And again, Green Bay didn't game plan for that at all.
Nope. So we got a loss, our first loss. It's a little bit humbling, a little bit disappointing. But that's what's going to happen when you don't perform well and perform up to expectations. I think they totally did not. So, we're going to see them next Sunday night, right, Ren?
Sunday night against the Dallas Cowboys. Micah goes home to take on those Cowboys who, I don't know, I haven't checked, but I know they probably lost. So it's going to be a big one. And, the bye week's coming up right after that. So one last thing I didn't see today either is that defense, while they played reasonable, obviously only holding them to 13 points. I didn't see as many white shirts flying to the football. It just seemed like they were a bit slower. Again, with that extra 3 days, I don't know why, but they didn't seem to have the juice they had the first 2 weeks. So they better have the juice come Sunday night because, hey, 2-2 going into the bye versus 3-1 is a massive difference.
Right. Next Sunday night against the Cowboys. The last I checked before I came in here, they were losing and probably going to lose to the Bears, who just kind of handled them. The Cowboys played pretty bad in the first half, which kind of set them back. And I think there was a maybe fourth quarter interception by Prescott. So yeah, the Packers should be watching that game for sure. If the Bears can handle the Cowboys, who have a pretty decent offense. I think CeeDee Lamb got out of the game early with some ankle injury.
Yeah, I heard that. So that's unfortunate for them, obviously. So
yeah,
might not have CeeDee next week, but it's going to take, again, all 11 on both sides next week to play a much better brand of football. I don't care who the team is. We just saw them lose to the 0-2 Browns. So they better get right, get prepared. They're still a good football team, but maybe this will temper they're the Super Bowl contender coming out of the NFC talk for a week. So we'll see what they do in Dallas.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me on the first takeaway, Ren. We will be back this week with our normal podcast during the week. This is live right now on YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch, so go check us out there and subscribe to our socials so you can chime in when we go live for these first takeaways after the game. And, of course, every week on Wednesday nights, we get together and discuss the Packers. So I appreciate everyone watching and tuning in. Ren, thanks again for joining me.
Yeah, I wish we didn't have to join under these circumstances, Tay. It's a heck of a lot more fun to do after a W. But until our regular episode, Tay, on the pup list.